There are other considerations also, which is this question should flow logically from one to the next. That is, one question should flow into the next question. There should be a logical sequence of flow from one question to the another question. General questions should be asked before more specific ones. So ask the general questions, then come to more specific ones. There is a possibility that your respondent may start feeling very threatened that you are asking very personal, specific questions. Earlier questions should not influence response to later ones, and questions should flow from factual and behavioral questions to attitudinal and opinion questions. Questions should flow from least sensitive to most sensitive and use multiple choice questions instead of one. Use of transition between sections, that in case if you have two sections, then there should be a transition where the respondent feels that yes, from one aspect we are going now to the second aspect or to the second part. Distinguish between instructions, questions and responses. So if the respondent is asking a question, if the respondent is not understanding the instructions, then we need to clarify that. Filter and pivot questions should be used as necessary. A filter question is one that screens out respondents who are not qualified to answer a second question. Now, I have given a questionnaire, and then when they're responding, I feel that no, this respondent is not meant to take this questionnaire. Now, a filter question will help me screen out such respondents. Whereas a pivot question is a type of filter question that is used to determine what version of a second question to ask. For example, I've asked the first question, and then I feel that I need to ask something beyond this. So this pivot question will enable me to decide which is the second question that I need to ask. Now, when we are developing a questionnaire, there has to be a logical flow. If the questionnaire deals with several topics, complete questions on a single topic before moving on to a new topic. Finish that one topic and then go on to the next topic. Don't do a hodgepodge that you have one topic in between, you ask the second topic and then again come back to the first one. Then if topics are related, ask questions on related topics before asking questions about unrelated topics. That will maintain the flow of your questionnaire. And if you ask questions about behavior over a time period, follow chronological order backwards in time. Ask them what happened after this and then, and that will give you a chronological order. When changing topics, use some transitional phase. And when we're preparing a questionnaire, it is also important to see the layout of the questionnaire. The layout and physical attractiveness of a questionnaire are also an equally important aspect. If I give you a questionnaire which is dirty, which is not worded properly, which is not typed properly, which does not have margins, which does not look attractive, I'm sure you would not want to fill up that questionnaire. So, a questionnaire should be designed to appear as short as possible. Very often what happens that when somebody gives us a questionnaire, while talking, we go through the number of questions which are there. If it is a short one, we say, okay, give me 10 minutes, I'll fill this up. But if it is a long one, we say, come back again, I will keep it ready for you. Questionnaires should not appear overcrowded. Ensure that on one single page you do not have too many questions, because if it is overcrowded, it may distract or the respondent may tend to lose interest. Leave lots of space for open-ended question. In case if you are giving open-ended question, leave some space for the respondent to fill in his or her answers. Questionnaire in booklet form are also recommended. Now, when we're writing the questionnaire, provide the first name, provide name of the organization which is doing this research. For example, if you are conducting a research or you're doing a survey, you would say that you have come from SNDT Women's University and you are doing this survey for this purpose. So you will tell the purpose or the reason of the survey and the topic on which you are doing the survey. State that no personal data other than for statistical purpose would be used. Sometimes what happens is that confidentiality has to be maintained, and you have to ensure to the respondent that you are able, that you will maintain that confidentiality. The data that you will be using will be for no other purpose but only for statistical purpose which is relevant or pertinent to your research topic. Tell the respondent approximate time to complete. Say that you will just take 10 minutes of their time to complete the questionnaire. Reinforce that the respondent's time is appreciated. It is very, very important to tell the respondent how you appreciate their cooperation, how you appreciate that in spite of the busy schedule, they have taken those 10 minutes out to respond to your research questions or to your questionnaire for that matter. Invite to participate. You have to seek their permission. Ask them if they are willing to participate. Seek their permission. And when you're doing the closing, that is once your questionnaire has been filled, thank your respondent for the time that they have given you. Ask if they had a positive experience and remind them that the opinions count. And it is very important to make them feel that whatever opinion they have given is of value to us. It would be used in a beneficial way for the purpose of your research. Pre-testing and correcting the problems. The purpose of pre-testing is to ensure that the questionnaire meets the expectation in terms of the information that will be obtained. So, before you go out into the field and you give a questionnaire to, let's say, 50 people, and then you come back and you say, oh no, I haven't got the correct answer. This is not what I was expecting. So it is always better that before you go out into the field, you pre-test your questionnaire, see that it is meeting your expectation in terms of the information that you are going to seek. Is the question necessary? When you're preparing a list of questionnaires, there may be two similar worded questions or maybe two questions which may be meaning the same. Well, in that question, you need to ask, does it serve a purpose? Will this information be helpful to me? Missing important variables, does it provide the information which is needed? Hope I am not missing out any variable. Match the questions to the objective. If you're matching your questions to the objective, then what happens is that you know exactly, you can pinpoint exactly what you want to observe, what you want to measure or you want to find out. Preset specific questions for variation, for meaning, for task difficulty, for respondents' interest and attention. Also for ill-defined, double-barreled questions, heavily loaded questions, ambiguous questions. All these will give you an idea before you go out into the field to actually administer the questionnaire. If you do all this at the pre-test level, it will help you in finalizing your questionnaire and having a very specific right questionnaire that you need. Pre-test the questionnaire, follow the flow of the questionnaire, skip if there is any pattern, for example, any positive type of questions that you have or any negative types of questions that you have, there will be a set pattern. So then the respondent also knows that initially the questions are all positive, later on all are negatives. So the student or the respondent will respond accordingly. The length of the questionnaire and also the respondent's interest in mind. And finally, to recapitulate all that we had done since we started this session, is the first thing that we need to do, or the first step, is specify what information will be sought. The second thing is to determine the type of questionnaire and the method of administration. The third is determine the content of individual questions. And the fourth is determine the form of response for each question. Once we have determined the form of response or what is the each, in what manner are we expecting the answers, then we have to determine wording for each question, determine the sequence of the questions, determine the physical characteristics of the question, see the steps 1 to 7, and then pretest the questionnaire if revise if necessary. And finally, your questionnaire is ready to be implemented. You can now go out into the field and you can implement your questionnaire. And in the end, I would say a questionnaire is only as good as the questions it asks. Thank you.